two of the things that I really enjoy trying to capture when I'm out taking photos and videos in the city are, in a way, quite a contrast from each other. You've got the permanence of the architecture of the buildings, and then you've got the temporary, ephemeral nature of pedestrians, of vehicles as they move from one place to another. In this shot, I'm going to try and capture both of those at once. What I've got is my phone mounted on one of these little tripods pointing up at this communications tower behind me, and I've got it in time-lapse mode. So I'm going to create a short video that tries to capture both of these, contrasting the permanent and the temporary. Now I've got my phone mounted horizontally so I can capture as much of this passing traffic. I've got my verticals and my horizontals. I hope I've got the communications tower right in the middle. I've got this artificial horizon, which is the edge of the pavement, as flat as I can make it with the angles I've got. What I am going to do is just zoom in ever so slightly, because unlike with photos, with videos, which is what a time-lapse is, it can be a little bit more difficult to reframe. So I think this is how I want it. Just do one last check on the focus and exposure. That's going to be all right. And then I'm going to hit go. Now, the reason this image works particularly well for me is that you've got the architecture, the permanence of that communications tower in the middle, and then you've got all of the movement happening around it. And we've got this big bus coming almost right towards us. This is a lovely moment of drama as these vehicles come towards us. In a time lapse, I'm hoping it's going to look like a moment of peril, as though the bus is going to carry on towards us, but of course we're a very safe distance away from the edge of the pavement, so hopefully that won't happen. And of course, as well as the traffic, we also have moments of relative calm when pedestrian crossings are on and people are crossing the road as well. And I think that contrast between the busy vehicles and then a moment of respite as people are allowed to cross might be quite nice, perhaps, when we take a look at the final image. And of course, while all of this movement's going on, that tower, that point of focus is still magnificent in the middle. Here we go, a bit more traffic. Cyclist, taxi, car, perfect. And you'll see there are two timestamps on the bottom of this phone. Each phone does it a little bit differently. On the left-hand side, we've got the elapsed real time, if you like. And on the right-hand side, we've got what that translates to. Remember, time-lapse compresses, condenses time into something much shorter. Say for a minute, it's going to be about 6 seconds in this case, which is a nice length of time for a kind of like short social media video. As with all images that you take, there are some things you can control and there are some things you can't. Sadly, traffic is one of those that you can't control, especially in a city. I wanted to try and capture as much dynamic, as much movement as possible, but sadly, we've got a lot of static traffic in this shot, whether it's the buses or we've got a big haulage lorry that just seems to get stuck in the middle of the crossing here, which isn't the effect I was after. So as always, it's a bit of trial and error, isn't it? This one was maybe more of an error, so we'll move on and see what else we've got. I was looking for an image that captured both the permanence of the buildings as well as the movement of the vehicles, and this time-lapse really does capture all of those. I've got the London buses as they come towards me. I've got other vehicles as they go about their daily jobs. I've got people and cyclists crossing as well. It really has a bit of everything, and I'm getting that static, I'm getting the dynamic, everything in one shot. It's exactly what I had in mind.